Last but not least, I preempted some of my other videos that I had thought of possibly doing tonight to talk about a video my a good acquaintance Jordan Owens has put out. It's called Gail Gail and Dawn Sink to Sickening New Low, talking about Gail Dines and a lady named Dawn something or other from Pornharms, which that website name should tell you everything you need to know about this. But there was a documentary apparently at Sundance that was about BDSM, to which I say, if it's done with real people from the real community, following the real guidelines of BDSM, then bring it. This is a movie that hopefully will open up a national dialogue that we need to have because people have so many misnomers about BDSM, including Gail and Dawn. And as somebody who has been a participant in BDSM myself, I was extremely sickened by it because basically both of them have decided to say that BDSM is, and I quote, torture. Torture and is illegal by the, what do you call it, Articles of the Geneva Convention. That none of these women could possibly, see where this comes from? None of these women could possibly ever consent to BDSM. The BDSM and 50 Shades of Grey are one and the same. They're inseparable, and this is another reason why I say, screw you, 50 Shades of Grey. You really screwed us over. Because what was in 50 Shades of Grey was abuse. That was not BDSM. That was also not a very good relationship, but I digress. I'm getting off on a tangent here. Jordan says it way better than I do. He has his links and his facts. I mean, I have my facts, but I'm just not in the mood to pull up the links. So if you want links and you want better explanations, go to Jordan's video down in the underbar, and I implore everybody to subscribe to Jordan. He is tops in my book. Even if he is a fan of Ayn Rand, excuse me, not Ayn Ra, I like Ayn Ra, Ayn Rand, and I'm not as big of a fan, but I think I need to research more on Ayn Rand before I realistically start wanting to trash that, as many people have. Again, I digress. It's come to the point, I mean, it's always kind of been this way, but it's come to the point to where if it's anything that's outside of the norm, especially if it's not reproductive intercourse, then it's wrong. And not all of this is about religious or things of that nature, but this is where the category tends to lie. Either you're doing it for, not for enjoyment, you're doing it for procreation as it's apparently meant to be, or you're wrong. And anything that has to deal with turn-ons, kinks, so on and so forth, even if it's between two consenting people, and even if it's stopped, if it ever goes to the point to where one or more of the participants has hit their threshold, even with everything that's in place with that, even with everything that most of us who have been into BDSM or have been into the communities or have actually talked to BDSM people to try to figure out, well, gee, is this what I think it is, or am I off on this? And in my case, with my original impressions, I was off. Instead of doing research, instead of going to communities, everything's a smokescreen to these people. Oh, if these people followed the rules, it was only because there were cameras present. That real BDSM is nothing short of just out and out anti-woman, because of course, anything that involves the women liking this, they were coerced, right, by the evil men. Because that's all we do. We're just coercive people. It can never be that it's the woman's idea. It can never be that the woman one day wakes up and says, hey, I've been looking online at this BDSM and I want to try it, honey. And the guy who's probably never heard of BDSM in his life says, well, gee, I want to research this before I agree. And then they decide. And then maybe they go and they get mentored. Maybe they go to a club, which is the smart thing to do, by the way. Or maybe they read a well-written step-by-step guide into the appropriate and proper ways to approach this. But no, it can't be that. It's abuse with permission, right, Gail? Just like how polyamory, which is more akin to our actual natural sexuality, although I'm not downing monogamy, I'm just trying to talk biology and facts. That's wrong, because that's just cheating with permission. Everything's with permission with you, and even if it is with permission, even if it is between two consenting adults, it's done safe, consensually, and without the involvement of kids or, in many cases, animals, you don't care. If it personally offends you or offends your ignorance, it's wrong. And you cannot be told otherwise. Or if you find out that factually, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you are wrong, you don't care. You just move the goalpost because you want everything and anything that you mark as being deviant to be taken down, to be taken apart, that we have to have a monitor in everybody's bedroom so that we can see what all you sick individuals are doing and arrest you or throw you in jail for a completely consensual act between two adults where rules, regulations, and everything else are followed, where these people get pleasure out of the various things that happen to them. But no, this can't happen. Or if it happens, then these women are female chauvinists, and therefore their opinion doesn't matter to the discussion of sex, sexuality, and gender relations. No, if it's kink, it's wrong. If it turns you on, it's wrong. If you love smelling a woman's shoe, you are disgusting, depraved, and you're objectifying a woman and degrading her to the smell of her shoe. For shame. For shame, you shoe-smelling deviants. You all need to be rounded up, put on an island, and that island needs to be nuked for the betterment of womankind. Right, Gail? Right, Dawn? Because you don't really care about men. You don't care about men's issues. And such things as masturbation are crimes against humanity in your book. And we should have Warsaw-like trials for anybody who dares to step outside the norm and get off in a consensual and safe environment. Right, Gail? Right, Dawn? Because like your site says, Dawn, porn harms, right? Let me guess. Porn leads to BDSM. BDSM then splinters off into rape as well as, non-consensual rape or not even rape fantasies, although I'd love to hear their ideas about rape fantasies. Oh, they were coerced by their rapist boyfriends who were actual rapists, but they're trying to rationalize their raping of a woman that they care about by turning it into play. It's fun. And then they'll try to make some sort of hyperbole about how they want to see rape fantasy Barbie become a reality to see how well that would go over. Well, in mainstream society, it wouldn't go over very well because we're not willing to talk about it. We've weaponized sex to the point to where women who do anything sexual and there's witnesses has to be held accountable for their discretions, their past discretions, that they must feel bad, ashamed, like they've done something wrong for doing something that they might have actually enjoyed, and oh noes, they got paid for it. That these women could then be blackmailed for their life. Oh, you're going to do this for me because I have a copy of your old porno and I'm going to send it to your friends and family. Instead of the woman saying, go ahead, and the person doing it only to find that the person who sent the video and tried to blackmail the woman goes to jail or gets prosecuted for blackmail, and the family thinks nothing different of their son or their daughter for having been involved in a pornographic film, which honestly is no big deal, except for we make it into a big deal. And then we make it to where we have a right to use morality as a source of law. And not only that, as a source of law that can then be used to hurt people. That your sexuality, if it's anything that's not heterosexual, can be used against you, can be used to hurt you. And for what, to what means, to what end? To whom does this serve? To whom does the bell toll, dare I say it poetically? But no, they don't want to discuss for whom the bell tolls. They don't want to discuss whom this benefits. It's certainly not the people who are being shamed. It's not the people who are losing their jobs because, oh my God, you happen to show your boob on a camera somewhere, sometime at your life. You happen to be sexual with someone you may not have actually been in marriage with. And we've got to shame you for that. We've got to make you feel so bad about your past discretions that we didn't know about till somebody dug it up and forced it into the community that you will kill yourself. And then we're going to consider that progress. We're going to consider that a way of governing ourselves. We're going to consider that civil. There's nothing civil about this. And you, Dawn, and you, Gail, there is nothing factual or correct about anything that you have presented in your arguments or your ideas about BDSM. And what more needs to be said on this? These people are destructive, disgusting individuals who will look down on you and want you to feel that there's anything wrong about getting off in a way that is consensual, safe, and done without the involvement of children or animals. Yeah, I really feel like BDSM is something to be ashamed of. Screw you both.